Hi, I'm Cindy B.A., a partner at Eversheds Sutherland.
And I'm Payam Siratpour, partner at Eversheds Sutherland.
Today we'd like to talk to you about interval funds. Over the past year or so, we've received a number of questions and seen some significant interest in the structure of an interval fund. And given that this is a structure that may be unfamiliar to some in the industry, we wanted to provide a brief overview about exactly what an interval fund is. So an interval fund is a registered investment company. However, the term interval fund is not defined under the Investment Company Act. Instead, it's the term that's been used to refer to a non-traded closed-end fund that has elected a fundamental policy to conduct repurchase offers on a mandatory and regular basis at specified intervals. Interval funds are also regulated by both FINRA and the SEC in a different manner from other closed-end funds, including other non-traded closed-end funds that are not interval funds. So Payam, can you tell us a little bit about how the SEC regulates interval funds?
Sure. Like all registered closed-end funds that offer their shares to the public on a continuous basis, interval funds must file a registration statement on Form N-2 with the SEC. But where interval funds have a significant benefit is on a going forward basis with respect to their post-effective amendments to Form N-2 as it relates to regular annual updates to their registration statement. Interval funds file pursuant to a rule that declares that has their registration statement effective immediately. And with respect to more substantive amendments to the registration statement, they file pursuant to a rule that allows the registration statement to be effective automatically within 60 days. In addition, interval funds file a registration statement that is indefinite, that does not have a 3-year term like other registered and regulated closed-end funds. Finally, interval funds enjoy the benefit of receiving multi-class exemptive relief on a regular basis that allows them to offer multiple classes of shares of the fund. So those are the high-level benefits from an SEC standpoint. Cindy, can you tell us about some of the benefits interval funds have from a FINRA review standpoint?
Sure. I guess the most important thing to note is that an interval fund is not subject to substantive FINRA review, meaning that an interval fund does not need to file its registration statement with FINRA. And this also means that an interval fund does not need to wait to receive a no objections letter from FINRA prior to commencing its offering. Instead, FINRA regulates an interval fund in the same way that it regulates mutual funds, meaning that it's actually the sales charges that are charged to investors that are regulated on a percentage basis. As Payam noted, interval funds regularly receive multi-class relief, so the mutual fund sales charge rule regulates the front-end load, the back-end load, and also the ongoing asset-based sales loads that a fund may charge. And interesting to note is that, as interval funds are regulated by FINRA in the same way that mutual funds are, they're also often sold in the same way that mutual funds are, and through a point-and-click distribution. So now that we've talked a little bit about the regulatory scheme, can you just give us a brief overview of the repurchase offers that interval funds conduct?
So the seminal characteristic of an interval fund is the fundamental policy to offer to repurchase shares on an established interval pursuant to Rule 23C3 under the 1940 Act. An interval fund must declare at the outset that it will offer to repurchase shares either once, twice, or 4 times per year, and each repurchase offer has to be between 5 and 25% of the fund's then outstanding securities. In addition, interval funds conduct those repurchase offers through a more streamlined form than the tender offer forms, known as Form N23C3. So those are the fundamental characteristics of an interval fund in a nutshell.
We hope you found this brief overview helpful. For more information, please visit eversheds-sutherland.com.